Hello and welcome to September 2025 ScrawlrBox. Yay! This is box 121. It shakes a bit and it feels quite light. So I feel I've been rewarded for tidying up my desk yesterday and giving myself lots of space. So ScrawlrBox is a monthly art subscription box here in the UK, and I'll bob it to the side so you can't see. I'll put the link below to the website if you're interested in a subscription yourself. Here's the little package we get. Here is the zine. So this looks like quite watercolory. Oh wow, here's the print. Looks a bit like granulating watercolory stuff. Let's see who it's by. I'll hold it up close for you. Matty Burnham, originally from Cumbria, now living near Leeds in Yorkshire. Oh, he's my neighbour. I live in Morley in Leeds. So this is Northumberland castles and Lockside cottages in the Highlands. Isn't that lovely? Oops. So that's that. Oh, I'm not going to tell you what paper we've got. Do you want to know? It's very special paper. I'm going to put that to one side. Can you tell by the smile on my voice? I might like the paper. So let's see what we've got in the little package, and then we'll have a look at the magazine, and then depending on what this is we might do some swatching, although maybe not on the paper they've given because it was very special. Ooh. So we have some Daler Rowney watercolours, and we've got ultramarine blue dark, yellow ochre and cadmium red hue. Now I did used to have some very cheap Daler and Rowney watercolours, but these are the aquafine ones, which I think are a better quality. We have one of the very lovely Princeton Elite paintbrushes in a size 4. These come to a lovely, lovely point. And we have a Pentel point liner, which is water and fade resistant. So not waterproof, but water resistant. And there's the point on that one. And we have our sticker, and we have a chocolate covered toffee by Walker's Nonsuch. Oh, it feels nice to have a clean desk. Okay, do you want to know the paper? All right then. Because, well, depending on where you live, some people call it arche and some people call it arches. So in this, we have 3 sheets of A5 Discovery Pack Arche or Arches aquarelle watercolour paper. They are 100% cotton, and they're available in cold press, hot press and rough, and then in these different weights, and also in natural white and brilliant white. So in this pack we've got cold pressed, hot pressed, rough in the natural white with 300 GSM. I did, during lockdown, buy myself some Arches or Arche watercolour paper in a pad, and I used some of it. It was very nice to paint on, I must say. However, I'm not actually sure what happened to the rest of the pad. So, wow, that is rough. Okay, so This one is the smooth, or the hot pressed. This one is the rough. Can you see that texture? I suspect this might be the one that has been used by the artist. And then this one is the cold pressed. So you can see the difference in the textures, actually, if I put them that way around. So this is hot press, cold press, and rough. Very nice. And I'm not bothered about this bit at the bottom because it helped me to remember what paper it is actually. So let's put those to one side and have a look at the zine. So it tells us a little bit about everything that's in here, all about the sweetie, vegetarian, gelatin-free and gluten-free. So I'm guessing it's the milk in the milk chocolate that doesn't make it vegan. A little bit about the watercolours. I just love the textures that this print has got. And here is a bit about Matty Burnham. There's some of his other artworks. Very beautiful. And then the Scrawler tips about how to use these. About using wet on dry, wet on wet, charging. I was just reading this bit. So if it looks scrubby, there's not enough water. And if it's smooth, there's the correct amount of water. It does say here, do this first. Mix your paints inside the tube with a toothpick. This should help to mix the binder and the pigment before you use it. Good advice. So a bit of a deep dive and a play around with using these watercolours. It's a nice activity to do actually. A bit about the artist's advice, and look how watery he's got that there. I like that palette actually, 3 separate bits. Very nice. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. I would think it's something like a bothy. Anyway, if you don't know what a bothy is, it's places where you can usually stay over in, well, they have them all over the UK. So like if you're going out hiking and things, there'll be little bothies where you can stay. All right, so this one was ScrawlrBox 119, and these were the Inktense blocks. These were lovely colours. However, I didn't do an artwork as such. I just did some mixing with them, spent ages on it, just to see how many different colours you could get, and it was a lot. But these are just beautiful. And I recognise some of the names from, I like that. I have a thing about turtles. I recognise some of the names from the Discord group. And then the top 3, this was Ava's, this was Elsa's, and this was Jan Smith. And again, I'm always so inspired by how different everybody makes their work, because everybody interprets it different and uses the supplies differently. Very nice. And then we have Sean Sutherland Kirby, otherwise known as Uncle Frogface, and his supplies. And then, oh, just a nice page of watercolours. I feel I should know where that is. Anyway, again, same supply, just different results. Very nice. Can art be sustainable? A lovely article there to read later with my tea. And then this month's Scrawler Challenge is Happy Place. So I'm really not going to waste this Archer's paper on swatching these out, because this is too good. If you don't know, this is very expensive watercolour paper. So I'm going to go and get some water and some other paper to swatch on. Okay, so I have found some Two Rivers sample paper. Two Rivers is also a handmade cotton paper in different paperweights. I think this is really thick. You hear that? It's almost like card. Anyway, it's handmade in the UK. And let's see how much. Oh, it doesn't look like there's any separation in this one. That's way too much paint. Actually, I should have put it into a little paint pan, shouldn't I? Okay, I'll scoop that into there in a minute. So this is the cadmium red hue. Look, it just wants to come out. And I don't need much in there. I have got some on the edge. And the blue. Oh. Gosh. That blue was super keen to come out. Okay. So I've got a little bit of the red on here. Oh. There's the yellow. And although we've got primary colours, not always do the primary colours work well together. However, I'm guessing that Matty used these three colours in their painting. So I'm going to just whisk a little bit of that out. And I'm going to have some in there for the yellow. And some for the blue. I'm going to run out of wells, aren't I? What you can see in this palette is the remains of the Inktense blocks from 119 from the colours that I mixed for that. So actually, if I put it in there, there's some red in there already. Oh, look at the difference in those blues. Oh, that's nice. And then let's mix some in here with the red. So I just need to a little splotch of the red there, just so I know that that's the red row. So we've got red, red with the yellow and red with the blue. Right, yellow row next. My first thought on seeing that yellow was that it was a bit of a mucky yellow, but I quite like it actually. So we've already got it with the red, so now we need it with the blue. And that's quite a muted green. Which will very nice. So red with yellow, red with blue. I've done them all. But now what I need to do is, so I think this one started with the red and then I added blue. So let's add this blue to this bit and see what different, oh yes, look, when there's more red, oh, this is why I love watercolours, because that's quite a nice mauvey, oh, I don't know, it's just lovely. And then I guess if we add a little bit of yellow, there's not a lot left here. So this is all three of them mixed. Oh, that's a nice kind of brown. And then let's use more yellow. And just a teeny touch of red, well, more so than that. There we go. Okay, let's wet the paper. And then see what it does on this. Oh, wow. Do that again. So it does do quite a bit of travelling on this Two Rivers paper. It will do the same on the Arche paper. Oh, I had more blue. Oh, this is fun. Obviously, I know this is Two Rivers papers, everybody. The good thing about this, you can actually wash this off and start again. I know, it doesn't sound real, but you can. Let me see which back. Shall I go back up to there and just show you? We've totally deviated ScrawlrBox from ScrawlrBox, sorry. But you can totally lift. Oh, I should be treating my brush better. And you will be able to lift on the Arche paper as well. I think the red is quite staining, but if I carried on and if my water was clean, my water's got quite dirty. So there we have box 121. Oh, actually, I'll leave those there so you can see them. Let me just move this into there. So we've got the Princeton brush. Oh, I forgot about the fine liner. Yep, very nice fine liner. And I haven't got one of the, well, it's a point liner. Same difference, I suspect. So we've got the Sweetie, we've got the print. Oh, am I going to get everything in? The print and the magazine. Not forgetting the Archer's paper. Well, that's another lovely box, ScrawlrBox. Thank you so much, and I will have fun painting something all about my happy place. See you in the next one. Bye.